it's that time of year again when it's time for a quick service. So it's just a short service. It's going to be new set of spark plugs. These are iridium NGKs, high flow air filter, high flow oil filter. And this time round we are going for some Motorex 10 watt 40 oil. I'm not going to break down how to show this. I've got this in separate videos now. This is just more for keeping my records together of how often I service the bike. So again, bearings have to come off. Then I'll do the air filter and spark plug, and then we'll get underneath here and we'll get the oil out after giving it a little run after we replace the rest. So hopefully get started. We'll see how we get on. Okay, you'll see here I've just wedged a bit of wood underneath, so I've got both hands free to disconnect the two electrical connectors and the fuel line. Just gives me a bit more two hands to work with. Now, my problem is I actually filled the tank very recently, so it's quite full. So this is going to be a little bit heavy for me to lift out. Right. You may have just seen me struggle because I forgot to disconnect the breather lines for the tank. Still, everything else is disconnected now. Now we're on to getting the airbox actually out. Now I can't remember how much of a pain this was, so this will be exciting. A lot of this has been done from memory. So remember, this got unscrewed, so I can come out of the way. The actual filter sits in there, if I remember rightly, so that's why this has to come out. But you have to take the whole airbox out to get to the spark plugs. Why? Because just that's the way life is on an inline parallel Ford from Kawasaki. Does make me miss my Ducati, which was just lift things up to access and put it out the way. Much less effort. Right. Now, that then reveals 4 little hex bolts under there, which I think is what's securing this whole airbox. Then that comes out. Can I get enough slack to get around that? It'd be nice if I could. Yeah. Let me get those hacks out. Just crack it loose with this. Hopefully. I think that's just a spin it out. I think that's all there is securing the airbox. You might have to undo a few clips just to kind of get cables out of the way. I don't think it's an unscrew everything from the airbox. Keep meaning to actually take off the writing of when the last time someone changed the air filter, because I do it every year and I never remember to bring a pen. Hopefully it gives us our movement we're after. So this gets disconnected from here before we break anything. we go. And a little bit of wiggle wiggle. There we go. That's off. So that comes off relatively painlessly. I should have disconnected that clip first, and I forget that every bloody time as well. Left then right spark plug, shall we? I like to do them one at a time so I know which one around they go. Otherwise I'll end up screwing up something important. Come on. There we go. That was hard work. Looks all good. Don't see any problems with that. So what you can see is we have to get down into here and right. Problem is, that angle is awful. So what I tend to do is two little socket extensions together. So what I do is I get this one in there. See, it just hits. Then that gives me the right height to do this. There we go. You can actually see that looks brand new. I've not done that many miles. And these again are the, the NGKs. Yeah, they were NGK iridiums. I got them last year, but for the sake of it, I do it every year. Right. To avoid misthreading, I roll it backwards a little bit till I feel it catch, and then I roll it forwards with my fingers, umpteen times. Until I can't do it with my finger anymore. That's when I break out the torque wrench. There we go. Oh, every time I'm like, when's it coming? Where is that click coming? There we go. The real fun part of this.
That's what paying cut.
It does not feel like it's in properly, but it is. There we go. Yeah, the fun part of this is getting this back onto that knob there and then tweezing it back. I do have some hose clamp pliers that should make that life a bit easier. Right, so that's spark plugs done. Now we're come to getting the airbox fitted. I'm not actually sure where the video died last time around, but my battery, my storage on my phone ran out. So you see I've got the tank back on after changing out the spark plugs and the air filter. Nothing really difficult with that, it's just time intensive, trying to make sure we connect everything back up again afterwards. I've now run the bike for a couple of minutes just to bring the oil up, and we should now be able to drop the oil and change the filter without taking anything off, which is going to be my goal here. So for that, I should just use my 17 underneath. I should be able to drop out the oil and then swap the filter out. So let's bring you in closer so you can see what's going on. So underneath directly here is my 17 drain plug. So set to unwind. Hopefully I should be able to drain that out. Without getting a mess everywhere. Actually, that's not black, which is to be expected considering I have not done too many miles. So while that's draining, we can just get this clean up. So I've not done a huge amount of miles on this this last year because I'm working from home. So the oil's pretty good. It's not black, which is fantastic. I do quite frequent oil changes every year, which works out for me about every 3,000 miles. Which I think the Kawasaki service manual says every 6,000, so let's do it half distance. It's easy for me to remember time of year rather than anything else. Let's let that rock over. And what we have to do now, tighten that back up and get the filter in place. See, this is where I might have to take the shield off just to get the first crank on this. Or maybe not. There's some people pre-fill these, but I just feel like I'm going to screw it up, so it's easier for me just to lube it up. Start spinning this on. As I say, hand-type problem is I always get oil on my hands. And with the exhaust there, so trying to clean up my hands. There we go. Now that should be the oil change done. All we've got to do now, put in some more oil. Now, I can't remember how many litres this actually takes. I've got a horrible feeling it's like 2 point something. So we'll get the first 2 litres in, and then we'll do a measure. We'll go from there. What I'm going to do is run it a little bit and fill the filter. Still just on half. So I'll put a touch more in. Just towards the top end of the half. Yep. Okay, so that marks the end of the service on the Versys. That's my completely yearly service. I shall probably do the brake fluid towards the end of the year in a separate setup when I just get some time. But I had all the fluids and I wanted to get it done quickly. 2.3 litres of oil went through, which seems about right according to the manual. So other than that, that's all done. Right, cheers.